If you've ever been injured, you know that feeling. The slow, painful road back to normal. It can feel like you're fighting gravity with every single step. But what if the best path to recovery wasn't on land at all? Today we're diving into a really cool idea. Could water be the secret to a faster and way safer recovery?
Seriously, think about it. You're dealing with a long, frustrating recovery. The pain, the setbacks. Now, just imagine a gym where you feel almost weightless, where you can build real strength without all that harsh, painful impact on your joints. Well, that's exactly the promise we're going to explore today.
You know, for so many people, traditional physical therapy means gritting your teeth and pushing through the pain on solid ground. And let's be honest, gravity is not exactly your friend in that situation. But the research we're breaking down today points to this powerful alternative, one that uses the incredible natural properties of water.
Okay, so let's get into it. First, we have to understand the core problem, this rehab dilemma. When you get hurt, the road back isn't just about waiting for something to heal. Nope, it's about actively fighting against what your own body starts to do when it's inactive.
Yeah, and this is what the research shows. When you're resting for a long time, it kicks off this whole chain reaction. Your muscles start to weaken, that's atrophy. The tissues around them get weaker too. Your joints get stiff, pain can actually go up. And here's the worst part. If you try to exercise on land too soon, you could easily get hurt all over again. It's a total catch-22, right?
So how in the world do you break that cycle? Well, the answer is to completely change the environment. And this is where the swimming pool stops being just for fun and becomes, well, a pretty amazing therapeutic tool. And the idea behind it is just brilliantly simple. We're not talking about just swimming laps here. Aquatic therapy is a specialized kind of physical therapy all done in a pool. It uses the natural physics of water to help your body heal in ways that are pretty much impossible on dry land.
So what is it about water that makes it so special for rehab? Well, the source material really boils it down to two fundamental properties of physics. You can almost think of them as water's two secret superpowers when it comes to recovery.
Superpower number 1, buoyancy. We've all felt this, right? That amazing feeling of lightness when you get in a pool? Buoyancy is just the upward push of the water, and it works directly against gravity. For someone with a painful knee or a bad back, this is an absolute game changer. It just lifts the stress right off your body.
And the effect is, well, it's huge. When you're standing in chest-deep water, you're only supporting about 40% of your actual body weight. Just let that sink in for a second. You can do exercises with more than half your body weight just gone, lifted away by the water.
And here's the really clever part. Therapists can fine-tune this. If you move into waist-deep water, now you're supporting about 60% of your weight. Just by changing the depth, a therapist has precise control. They can slowly and safely reintroduce the force of gravity as you get stronger.
Okay, water's second superpower, viscosity. It's a fancy word, but it just means the natural drag or resistance you feel. You know, when you try to run in a pool, that's viscosity. And unlike a dumbbell, which is heavy no matter what, water's resistance is all about how hard you push.
And this really shows you the difference. On one hand, you have weight machines, which lock you into a fixed path, isolating one joint. But in the water, the resistance is accommodating. It perfectly matches your effort, so it's really hard to overdo it and hurt yourself. Plus, you can move in any direction, mimicking the complex ways we move in everyday life. And that is so important for a real-world recovery.
So, you've got these two incredible superpowers, buoyancy and viscosity. But when you put them together, what's the actual payoff? What does this really do for someone who's trying to heal? Let's look at the real-world benefits. So here's the bottom line. You can start moving sooner and way more safely. That means you get your joint mobility back faster. You start building strength without all that dangerous compression. You can even do things like deep water running to keep your cardio up. And maybe one of the coolest parts is that the water naturally helps you move symmetrically, retraining your body to use both your injured and uninjured sides equally. Now, all of this sounds amazing in theory, but does it really work in practice? Let's check out the playbook and see some of the hard data on what happens when you put this into action. So, the source material brings up this study on athletes recovering from ACL surgery, which is just a notoriously tough recovery. Okay, so look at this. 12 weeks after surgery, their injured leg was almost 22% weaker than their good leg. That's a huge gap. But then they did an 8-week aquatic therapy program. Look what happened.
Let's just visualize this, because the change is incredible. By week 20, that strength gap had plummeted from nearly 22% all the way down to less than 8%. They practically closed that strength gap in just 8 weeks in the pool. That's a massive acceleration of their recovery. And it's all because they could start working safely and effectively so much earlier.
And what's great is that therapists have this really flexible playbook. The most common way to do it is wet to dry. You build your foundation in the water, then you graduate to land-based exercises. But they can flip it too, using the pool as a lifeline when land exercises cause a flare-up. And for some people, a wet-only program is the only way they can get any exercise at all without pain. This quote from the research really nails it. It's all about getting a head start. By taking away so much of the pain and the risk of getting hurt again, water lets you begin the real work, rebuilding your strength, retraining your movement way earlier in the game than you ever could on land.
So it leaves you with this pretty fascinating thought, doesn't it? In our world of high-tech gadgets and complex machines, maybe the future of getting better is as simple as getting back in the water.